How you doing there, folks? Eric here, coming to you from FEMA Region number 3. Making my attempt at Zeus Spender's voice. Yeah. Well, folks, I've got something special for you today. I had this inkling to go out into our shed to look around a bit, because out there are items from my grandparents' house. We got these items in the time after they passed away, and they've been there ever since. And I just felt like going out there to see if there was anything interesting that I could show. And in the process of looking around, the idea dawns on me, go get your little camera and record some stuff. So I did. The first thing, though, that I want to mention is I've got this picture up right now, and you notice where I am, or at least where I was when I got this screen capture. Yeah. You might have noticed that this was the location of the filming of the first ever video on this channel. And now I have this picture here. You can see Fritzy very early on, back in, I believe, October of 2013. This was recorded in my family's basement. Now I'm going to show you this picture. This one was taken in our backyard in front of said shed. I made a rhyme. And this was, I believe, Schmid's Aramarilis Brillster. In front of it, this was his little song about talking to the squirrels. So this is the shed that I was in today. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, here we go! Into the shed! Woo! As you can see, I have stuff pulled out all over the place. You can see some pictures and some random assorted things. I go more into detail about some of these things later. Here we have a possible cap gun in with a VCR. Don't know what one has to do with the other. And my uncle was a fan of... There's Nixon. Hey, Raz! My uncle was a fan of the presidents. And the vice presidents, too, as well. I think he might have had them all memorized. Here's a little game with Abraham Lincoln on it. Someone in the comments mentioned Abraham Lincoln. And a Monopoly game. He liked Monopoly. And Scrabble, by the way. And my grandfather had this picture. I gave it to him at one point. Now I have it back. And, look, it's a piece of kitchenware. You know he liked to cook. Here is a moose. That was a moose. And here is a hat. This was my uncle's hat, as evidenced by, wait for it, his name on the inside. Yes. Hello. There was a Bible trivia game real quick if you saw it. And sometimes my camera records things upside down, so I have to fiddle with it to get it right again. Flip! A picture of Kristen. And remember George Washington? This was in the basement of my grandparents' house. And here is my uncle and Mr. Herb. Don't know when this picture was taken, but it was a while ago, I believe. The floor. My mom and my uncle when they were young. The floor again. Get used to that, folks. My grandparents. See, I told you. My grandfather with his parents. Taking me a while to get this next one. There we go. I think this was on the fireplace at my grandparents' house along with my mother's picture. And this one, this might have been on the piano. I'm a little confused about where they all were. Both of those locations in the living room. My uncle liked the Ravens. And then here's a little Orioles ball. I think he might have been a bigger fan of the Ravens than the Orioles, though. I think he went to some games, though, with us. My grandfather's old radio. You can tell he was a painter. And this is something from, what does it say again? I think it was from a show my uncle did. His name was in this under Guys and Dolls. I show which part he played once I get to it. Here we go. My uncle liked Jeopardy too. There's his name. And he was, let's see. He was Big Jewel, I believe. Back to the floor. A little Swiss Colony can really quick there that had some coins in it. He liked Monopoly. There's a deluxe edition. He liked Trivial Pursuit. We played that. We actually played a version of Trivial Pursuit the last time my grandparents were at my house, or my grandmother at least. And here, you see Debbie Hughes there. She was married to Pastor Tom. And we actually found out when I called my great aunt that she had passed away around maybe like a month before my uncle. So there was a little surprise. I imagine my uncle and cousin Debbie in heaven saying, "When did you die? Well, when did you die?" But then they don't have to worry about that anymore. Digging around in things. And this seems to be something, he had multiple copies of this. It was different things about like a meteor and the Revelation 12 sign. I think he had these together to give out. So I go over this a little bit. Here comes the second page. Wait for it. There it is. Woohoo! Yeah, I think he had like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 of them in one of the tubs. 5 years ago, apparently, already. How the time flies. And this looks like a drawing that he started but didn't complete. It looks like a little, a telescope or something. And this was a little, like, play that he wrote about Sojourner Truth. He was talking about it with someone down in Tennessee when he was working at Office Depot. I think either Office Depot or Office Max. Here's a little glimpse inside. And his production company, Beatnik Productions. Little view inside some drawers he had. There's a Book of Daniel study guide. Ah, yes, the Mad Libs. We did the Mad Libs. Also some assorted trinkets and a tape from when he was in... Was this high school? I think it might have been high school. There's the Beatnik Productions logo. He may have drawn that, but I don't know. And here's a little note thing he had, because he liked, like, music notes and piano and things. And then there was... Oh, yes, I was looking in this book that had some of his writing in it. And I turned to this page, and there's my picture. It was on a page having to do with Daniel's 70th week. I think these were things he wrote when around the time he first got saved, because it says 1989 on the cover, as you'll see in a second, I think. It's me from school. And that's me now. Paul's handwriting. Uncle Paul's handwriting. Yeah, there's 1989. Hey, there's the floor again. And, I don't know if this... My mother suggested this may have come from a Christian bookstore that was over at a local mall, but I don't remember. It's some different papers in here with Bible verses on them. You can pause the video if you want to read them in a bit more detail. Was this the woman at the well, I think? A little bit more. There was quite a few of them here. Zechariah. And that's it. What next now? I think we're nearing the end, yes. I forgot to show, I believe this was in the 1989 book from before, a drawing that he did on the inside cover. Wider shot. And that's about it. So there you have it, folks. There was my little excursion into our shed today. A little bit more on Cousin Debbie. Yeah, I wanted to go into that a bit more. It turned out to be quite the week. It was about the span of a week. Maybe a little more, I don't know exactly, but the first thing that happened was we had lightning. It sounded like lightning struck our house, and then come to find out our TV was fried. No fire or anything. I mean, nothing bad happened, but we just tried to turn it on, and it did not want to work. And our cable box got messed up too. I think that was on June 27th. Then on June 29th, we found out about my uncle. And a few days later, I called my great aunt, one of the sisters of my grandmother, to tell her about Uncle Paul. And she basically said, they just buried your cousin Debbie and now this. So there was that. And yeah, like I said, she was married to a pastor named Tom Hughes. And we also found out at a certain point, I think my mother may have been looking up on the internet about Cousin Debbie, and she found out another relative of ours on my grandfather's side named Charles had passed away not too long ago, if I remember correctly. And then one of the panes of glass in our front storm door was broken. Thankfully, those things have been rectified, the things that got messed up, but that was quite the week, wasn't it? So, I guess that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I pray that you keep our family in prayer. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and God bless. Zip, zip!